All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out as always. So I promised some gameplay footage, and here we are in the arena battling on Vynnset. So I'm going to pull up some gameplay that I recorded shortly after I recorded our last deck tech video. So this is the most recent list. I haven't actually updated it much since then. I've been practicing on it. I've been seeing how it feels. So if you want to see that, I'll link the video here above. And on this list, I wanted to jump onto Talishar, get some games in, and so I recorded a bunch of gameplay that I want to review after the fact now. So I think it's going to be really helpful to, go into it blind. It's been about a week since I played these games, recorded these games, so I don't really remember exactly how they went down. And so we're going to go through it together. I'm going to kind of fast forward here and there. And I'm going to sort of talk through my lines, and maybe we might come to a conclusion that I missed a couple things, right? Never know. Always possible, obviously. I miss things all the time. So let's take a look. So this was a game against Phi, which I think is a good one to take a look at here, because Phi, I think, is going to be quite prevalent in the meta, so aggro specifically. So I decided to side in all of my defensive pieces, reduced to rune chant, and as some offense as well to try and push some damage myself, I went yellow, mauve, and revel in rune blood. Also decided to go with carapace here, which I think is probably correct into Phi, and this is probably going to be a classic turn 0 play. Banish widespread ruin. I'm just going to pause for a second. Banish widespread ruin, pitch a blue to activate grasp, makes us a second rune chant to kind of roll into our next turn. Here, an option could have been to play out Deathly Whale. This is a bit of a risk, though. So I have 2 blues left in hand, blue Deathly and a blue mauve. By playing out the blue Deathly Whale here, it does present 2 rune chants that they have to deal with. They are on Tide Flippers, however. So if they are not on AB, here they are, I would probably swing Scepter of Pain, pitching the Deathly Whale, and arsenaling the Mauve Skies. The other option is to actually throw the Deathly Whale at them, but that just allows them to filter. They're going to be able to just pitch 2 for the rune chants, fully block out the whale, and then we don't get to roll rune chants over, which is really important. So often when they are on AB, it's just a banish, activate grasp, roll over to the next turn. I'm going to shove Mauve Skies in Arsenal. I'm really happy to draw into the Revel in Rune Blood here that plays nicely with our Mauve. So let's take a look at what our opponent does as a follow-up. So classic start here, Ronin Renegade, 3, go again. I'm kind of happy giving some cards up here. So just to analyze our next turn, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm likely going to banish Widespread Ruin in this case if I am going to play Revel. That would allow me to go Mauve Skies, one of the first widespread for 3 and 6. Revel in Rude Blood, generate 4 rune chants regardless of whether the Mauve hits, and present another 10, 4 and 6. So I'm sort of happy to give both blues here. There's potential for creeper shenanigans if we do want to end the chain on Scepter of Pain or something like that, but I don't think it's really necessary here. So we're sort of happy to give up a couple blues. I could have waited for some more relevant on hits or breakpoints to throw my blues at, but it looks like I'm considering giving up the Deathly Whale here as well to cover up this Ember Blade. Just preserving our life total because we know regardless we're going to be able to present a pretty scary turn. They are on Mask of the Pouncing Lynx as well, which is another thing to consider. I'm not that, I'm a little more careful with my blocks if they're on Mask of Momentum, obviously. You might want to let the first one through so that you stagger your blocks a little bit to stifle their card draw. In this case, they're just pushing damage, and this is just a vanilla 7 here, so we are going to end up taking some damage this turn, go down to 31, but we're quite happy with the follow-up we have. So banish the Widespread Ruin. It's pretty straightforward play. Mauve into Widespread Ruin for 3 and 6. Revel into Widespread for another 10. So this is going to be a turn for 19, which is pretty strong. And Phi opting not to block the rune chants, not overly surprising. But they did actually let this hit. So we generated a 5th rune chant here. And so we're looking at 20 damage total. And since they were, they must really like their hand, so they're not really presenting any blocks. They're taking these rune chants as well. We'll see what they do with the final 6, but either way, they're going to be losing a couple cards off the top of their deck due to the on-hurt effects of Widespread Ruin here as well. That may or may not come in. So they're banishing a Lava Vein Loyalty. I guess I closed the chain previously as well, so they banished something earlier. So Double Strike is just a snap take here. We're not too worried about this card. They do follow it up with an Artivore to pump it up to 2, presumably. Banishing a card, drawing 2. So I'm still happy to take this. We're sitting on a Reduce to Rune Chant, which is a little bit awkward without the rollover rune chants from the previous turn. We just, presented Revel, which breaks our rune chant. So no matter what. I paused here. Or no, I didn't. We're thinking. Anyways, I presented Revel. We don't have any rune chants here to follow up, so I might be thinking about how we're going to navigate blocking this turn, whether I care to cover this up or not. So we opted to take another 3 here. This turn is a little bit awkward. So there's a couple options. I am going to pause here and talk through some options for our next turn, because we always have to think one step ahead. We could take a bunch of damage and just set up. Okay, so setup would look like Deathly Wail and Banish, play out the incantation, play Read the Runes. So then we would end on 4 rune chants, have a banish target, and arsenal this Reduce to Rune Chant, which is actually not a bad option. So blocking with the Reduce here, I must have something else in mind. So another option is, well, if we had another attack action card, we could Creepers in. We'd have to block with the attack action card first. Creepers in, Read the Runes, and follow it up with Deathly. So I think what is going on here is we are just going to be taking a setup turn, banishing the Deathly, playing the Read the Runes, banking the Reduce. I realize now that my line before wouldn't work because I need to pitch for Runeblood Incantation, which is likely why I decided to block with it. I didn't want to pitch it I didn't want to pitch the Reduce to pay this. I would rather just play Read the Runes and then bank the Reduce for the next turn. I think that makes a lot of sense. So this does make sense in hindsight. I'm taking another 3 here with an on hit, unless I'm planning on reducing this. I'm just going to give some equipment here to allow for that setup next turn, because playing out the Reduce would hurt. Pitching the Read the Runes is not where we want to be. So this is a bit of an awkward hand for us. So we are just going to take some damage and have a setup turn of our own, which may be able to facilitate. They went back here. Mitch may be able to facilitate a huge turn for us, not this next turn, but the following turn. So they are going to throw some more stuff at us. We're basically at life parity here, 21. Banish this Deathly, play the Read the Runes, bank 4 rune chants, stuff Reduce in arsenal. So really, really simple. This immediately makes me happy. As soon as you see this hand, you're laughing, because we're going to be able to bank another. I'm probably going to, it doesn't really matter in this case whether you want to banish the Deathly or the Deathly Delight. Chances are I'm going to banish the Deathly, so we'll get that 6 breakpoint. And then we have some nice block this turn. So we have a free Reduce to Rune Chant, which will get us to 5 rune chants. So I'm probably going to cover this Bittering Thorns up with that due to the on-hit. Then we're going to go Shadow Puppetry, Deathly Wail. Closed Chain will make 2 rune chants. We'll make another 4 with Revel. Follow it up with either Deathly Wail or Delight. Delight would gain us life. Unfortunately, we would lose, because of Revel's ability, we would lose the rune chant generation on Wail. So Wail actually becomes a little bit less of a prime target. So, either way, I might block with the Wail, I might block with the Delight. I don't think it's a significant difference either way. I assume we're going to cover this one up with the Reduce, however. So I'm looking at the Reduce. We are passing blocks, moving to reactions, and I'm going to throw this Reduce in front of this Bittering Thorns, cover that breakpoint up, and prevent them from having that +1 on hit. We are likely going to take some damage. I'm happy to give up another one of these cards. I don't really want to sit on either of them in Arsenal, So chances are we are at some point going to throw maybe the Deathly Delight in front of something. I'm looking at both of them here. But we might just, I don't know. We'll see what we decide to do. So really considering, yeah. So I came to the conclusion here that the Delight is actually more value because I will gain the 2 life. It is 1 less attack, but I'll gain the 2 life, which is maybe impactful. So I'm covering this. I'm choosing to cover this up as well. Maybe trying to prevent the Mask of Pouncing Link's trigger, but for the most part, I could have held Grasp back here. I didn't really need to cover up the Rabble entirely. This one, we're just going to snap take 3. We don't want to be giving up any more cards, and that's not irrelevant anything. So they're going to end on Arsenal, which we're really happy with. So we're going to start our turn on 6 Rune Chants, take the damage from Shadow Puppetry because we want to generate our Rune Chant off of Whale, and we want to gain 2 life at the end of our turn. So this is 6 and 6 for 12. We'll generate 2 at the end of this for 14. Another 4 off of Revel for 18, and then 5 for 23. So things happened to line up here. Our hands did, I would say this is a bit of a higher end game. We are rolling quite hot. It's not like it is a slightly above average Vynnset game, I would say. It's not like super high roll, but it is quite good. I'm not going to lie. So here we are generating another 6 Rune Chants following this up. 2 from Deathly Whale, 4 from Revel, presenting the Deathly Delight. They're going to have to maybe start blocking some of this Arcane unless they want to go to 1. Yeah, they're going to start throwing Salt the Wound here, which does block for 3. Might have been more meaningful to throw it under the Deathly Delight, but not sure what else they have in their hand. But they're going to block a couple Rune Chants here, thinking about blocking some more. They're throwing a second Salt the Wound, which is really oh, that's why. Well, so I would have maybe pitched the Art of War instead, but they're going to try and dig for some block to help get over the physical, which I guess makes sense. So they banished Bittering Thorns. They're going to take a few Rune Chants now on these next few. But they're in a bit of a bad spot going to this low of a life total now. So 5, they're going to have to give us probably a piece of equipment and 1 card. Yeah. Mounting Anger is a 2 block, I guess. So 1 up to 3 from Art of War. And they're going to pass at 4 life. They have 1 in hand, 1 in arsenal. So E-Strike is a pretty decent follow-up, and it's good timing for them because we kind of drew into a brick. But we're going to try and fix our hand, I assume, using Crown of Providence here in order to try and dig for something. So we have some redundant to go again. So I'm wondering if I'm going to be sinking one of these go against. Probably. We don't have any Rune Chants, so we sort of, these are higher priority right now going into this next turn. So I assume we're going to sink one of these go again, and we're going to draw into another Mobs Guys, which is really unfortunate. Luckily, we have a good life buffer here, so I doubt they're going to break Mask. So the game is becoming interesting. So we take 4, and we're payback here. This is payback for how hot we've been rolling. Really unfortunate hand. I'm looking at red Mobs Guys to potentially banish because I want pitch to be able to maybe present Scepter, but decided we have enough pitch, so we are just going to actually generate some Rune Chants, present. Oh yeah, so I guess we did have the Phantom Wraith banked, which I forgot about. So we do have a banked Phantom Wraith. I'm trying to remember where that was from. Maybe we've had it in there for a little while. Anyways, banked Phantom Wraith, so we just needed to produce some Rune Chants here. So this is a better turn than I thought it would be. So we pitch Mobs Guys, play Envelop, make our second Rune Chant, present an on-hit that they can't ignore. So this is a 2 and 8. Much better turn. Apologies for missing the Phantom Wraith. I don't recall exactly when this hit our banish zone. You guys will let me know. Roast me in the comments, but they're going to have to cover this up unless they want us to, yeah, so they're going to give us Mask, which is great for us. They don't want us to produce those rune chants, which is very reasonable. We have one float. I'm thinking about Flail here. Flail would force them to give us their Flamescale Furnace, which I think is decent. We're trading a life for their Flamescale Furnace, the last block of their Flamescale Furnace. They're at 2, and we drew into a pretty decent hand, so we're happy to block with Sync. We're going to banish Phantom Wraith, really straightforward, and present Envelop in Darkness, pitching the blue. However, they stifled that plan. So Warmonger's Diplomacy, we are going to have to choose... we chose Peace. Right, so choosing Peace here, we can't really choose War because we can't Grasp. We can't activate Grasp. Which is... And we can't play Envelop in Darkness. So this is going to stagnate no matter what. So we are just going to take a setup turn. It allows us to... maybe play out one of the envelops if we don't, we're not going to want to sit on all of this. So that makes sense. A little unfortunate. They caught us at a bad time there. So we're going to banish our Phantom Wraith here, bank that for a future turn. We're going to activate Grasp since we did choose Peace to try and build up a little bit here. Gives us 2 options here in terms of Arsenal. So we're going to move to End, and I don't know which one is more valuable here. Maybe the block. I might sit on Sync below. We'll see. Yeah, going to sit on Sync below because we're not too worried about Rune Chant. Oh, we decided to put that just in case, but because it didn't really matter, right? We're going to want both anyways. So they're presenting Ronin Renegade. 3 go again. Don't know if this is a Sync target. Now that it's up to 4, maybe we get full value out of Sync. So this is syncable for sure. So might as well throw it out there, get full value for our Sync below. Do we want to Sync is the question. We're pretty happy with Shadow Puppetry, which guarantees 2 Rune Chant gen, as well as Red Envelop, which we can pitch the second Red Envelop for. So there's not much we're really trying to dig for here. We are going to end up taking some damage. So we're going to take this 5. It's a vanilla 5, go down to 6. It is becoming more of a game, so they were able to sort of rebuild. I'm going to really, Envelop in Darkness Red, even if it's just for pitch, is far, more of a... Unless we absolutely need to block, which right now, life total is getting to be a bit of an issue, so we are deciding to block. Even just Envelop pitching Shadow Puppetry is... 2 and 9, which guarantees 2 rune chants on the back end. But, we have to preserve life total. We have to respect their attacks now, going down to 4. Ending with a Lava Burst, which is really, really bad for us. Either way, so I paused it. We're kind of in a bind here. We have to give them Deathly Wail because we can't die. So... this is really, really unfortunate. I can't remember how this game ends, but I'm really excited to see. So we do have 2 Rune Chants banked, but we have no choice. We have to give them Deathly Wail, which makes our next turn very, very awkward. So I'm giving them both here, which makes sense because we're just going to have to pass on our turn. It's not worth keeping a card back just to produce a Rune Chant. And we got to hope that they don't draw into Pure Gas next turn. I once again forgot that we had a banked Runegate card. I keep not paying attention to that. So this is what we banked during our Peace turn. So this allows us to still have a turn. I was too fixated on the Deathly Wail and getting the Deathly Wail out. So this still allows us to have a turn here. So this allows us to strip 3 cards from their hand. They're still going to take 1 down to 1. Now we just need to find our unpreventable damage. So we have it. We are happy to just throw some cards in front of this. Essentially, all we need to do, if we preserve life total at 3, is play out Envelop in Darkness, take the damage to Vynnset's ability, and then we can just present Flail and push that last bit of Unpreventable Arcane. I'm thinking about it just to make sure we have the kill, which we do. So we do need to hold back a card, because we do still need to banish as well. So I think I'm going to give up Deathly Wail. We can go to... well, we can't go to 2. So we have the Envelop in arsenal, which is going to allow us to still do what I said. So play the envelop. We're still at 3 life. Take the damage. Present flail for 1 unpreventable and close the game out. So really, really, really close game. We had to go to 1 in order to close it out. Apologies for missing a couple of the lines there. I think we did play it correctly in the moment. I keep forgetting about the banked RuneGate cards that we have. But that ended up being a really, really close game that we ended up closing with Vynnset's ability, Unpreventable 1. So anyways, a few, blunders there. This is my first time trying this, review of gameplay, and that was a fast back and forth. So a little bit hard to keep up with, but I think we did play it correctly. It was a really, really close game into Fi. Luckily, we were able to get 2 very, very impactful turns that allowed us to put them on the back foot and sort of keep them there for a little while. Endgame got a little dicier. They were able to push back and stifle a couple of our turns. We didn't really help ourselves with a couple really awkward draws, but those banked RuneGate cards that I kept forgetting about dug us out of a couple holes, so that was really good. And closing out the game with Vynnset's ability is still always a lot of fun. We need to be at 3 in order to take the life and present flail, if that's what we're using to push those unpreventable rune chants. So anyways, really close game. I think I have another Fi gameplay footage, but for the next one, I'm going to try and do this more regularly. We'll probably look at a fatigue game. So I think I have a Bravo matchup that I have recorded. So we'll take a look at that one, see how that goes, because it's a very, very different playstyle for us, a lot more setup involved. But anyways, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything, if there were any lines or hands that you would have played differently. I'd love to hear. But for now, take care, and we'll chat real soon, okay? Cheers, everybody.